Hello, it's John Heaton, and today I'm going to do a slightly different video, suggested by my son Richie. He suggested I do top 10 or top 20, well, top favourite Beatles middle eights. And for those of you not familiar with the phrase, middle eights means the bridge. Another word for it is bridge to a song, and I'll read you a little bit of the definition of that from the internet. Bridge is a section of a song that's intended to provide contrast to the rest of the composition. From the Beatles to Coldplay to Iron Maiden, songwriters use bridges to change moods and keep audiences on their toes. Typically, a bridge will follow a chorus section, present something different, whether it's a different chord progression, a new key, faster or slower tempo, or a meter change. The song doesn't end on its bridge, so there will always be an opportunity to steer the composition back to its main themes once the bridge is concluded. So, middle eight, called that because a middle eight is kind of roughly in the middle of a song and is quite often 8 bars long. I did a bit of research last night in terms of how long these favourites of mine were in terms of bars by looking at the sheet music, and a lot of them are 8 bars. But a hell of a lot of them are not, either shorter or longer. So there's no hard and fast rule. I also had difficulty knowing what was a middle eight and what was a bridge, as opposed to some of the Beatles songs are more like medleys, like You Never Give Me Your Money. I didn't count any of the sections of that as a bridge, or Happiness is a Warm Gun likewise. And Day in the Life I thought about, but decided again that was a sort of magnum opus made up of about 4 sections if you include the orchestral build-up, and I thought Paul's section was more than just a bridge for that song, but of course you can make up your own rules. I just decided not to include it in this particular top 20. Also, bridges are usually only featured once in a song, but that was in the early days, and as pop songs got a bit longer in the 60s and 70s, the bridge was quite often featured twice, and I've allowed that. So what else have I not allowed? I think those are roughly the rules. Quite interesting to see that quite a few Beatles songs don't have a bridge. So, for example, Let It Be, Across the Universe, Penny Lane, Strawberry Fields, Rocky Raccoon, to name a few. So not common to every Beatles song. It was very much probably the formula when they started off. So a lot of their early compositions, and I was looking particularly the 65, 66 period, a lot of those songs have bridges in them. But it's not an exclusive rule by any means. I guess the easiest way to illustrate what a bridge is the song From Me to You, which is the verse twice, if there's anything that you want, if there's anything I can do, that verse repeated with slightly different words, same tune, and then I've Got Arms That Long to Hold You, that's the middle eight with the key change. So that's probably the most basic example of a middle eight from the Beatles catalogue, but straight into my top 20. And as I said, I used the sheet music. So the first one I didn't have the sheet music to. The first one comes from Hard Day's Night and is the title track. The When I'm Home section. Where are my notes? Everything seems to be right. Okay, gonna have to do without my note. Oh, here they are. So that's Paul singing that middle eight, very effective counter to the main verse of Lennon's. So that's my number 20. Number 19 was the single Lady Madonna. The Friday Night Arrives Without a Suitcase is the middle eight there, very effective counter to the verse. I've got I Am the Walrus, which comes from the sheet music. This is a brilliant book because it contains the sheet music for Mystery Tour, Abbey Road and Let It Be, and I'm the Walrus is number 18 on my list, the Sitting in an English Garden section. Two of Us, again from this book, I've put at number 17. You and I Have Memories. I think it's a glorious middle to the song, and that's in the more familiar format, 2 verses, middle 8, third verse. Back in USSR is from the White Album, which is in this sheet music along with Yellow Submarine. Well, the Ukraine Girls really knocked me out. Leave the West Behind, that's the middle eight in that song, and it's tremendous. We Can Work It Out as an example of where John and Paul combine their talents. So Paul does the verse, Lennon comes up with the middle eight, life is very short, and there's no time for fussing and fighting, and it's very effective, and the video for this song is hilarious, as you know. Number 14 I've got, didn't have the sheet music for this, but it's from With the Beatles, It Won't Be Long. Very tuneful middle eight here with the harmony vocal, Since You Left Me I'm so alone, now you're coming back home. I just love it, brilliant, one of the best early songs. The next one's from Pepper, and this one had a sheet music of its own, or this version anyway, and the song is When I'm 64, one of Paul's earliest compositions, or at least he wrote the tune for it, not the words, but the original tune would have had the middle eight in it. The every summer we could rent a cottage in the Isle of Wight section, if it's not too dear, and it's just, again, as so many of these middle eights are, a perfect complement to the verse. Next one is from Hard Day's Night. We've got I'll Cry Instead, which John actually singles out. He likes the middle eight of this song in the 1980 Playboy interview, so that's good. He doesn't often like his own work. And then we've got an awful lot of songs chosen from these three albums, which appeared in one book, another great value for money sheet music book, this Revolver, Rubber Soul, and Help. So at number 11 we've got I'm Looking Through You from Paul from Rubber Soul, the Why Tell Me Why Did You Not Treat Me Right, which is just so tuneful and simple but stunning. Number 10 from the same album, Norwegian Wood from John, which is actually shorter than 8 bars, I think it's only 4. She asked me to stay and she told me to sit anywhere. So I looked around and I noticed there wasn't a chair. I think it's a wonderful middle eight and very melodic. And number 9 is from Pepper, Fixing a Hole. And I wasn't sure whether this constituted a middle eight, but I put it in anyway. The section when Paul sings, and it really doesn't matter if I'm wrong, I'm right. Where I belong, I'm right. Where I belong, brilliant. And then number 8, another really early song from Paul, I'll Follow the Sun, written in the 50s. And again, not 8 bars long. This I don't think it's 8 bars long. It might be. And so the time has come, and so my love, I must go. And in the end, you lose a friend. In the end, you will know. Sorry. I don't think that's 8 bars, but it's just wonderful. And John's harmony vocal is brilliant. Number 7, we've got from Revolver, which is on this sheet music book. Yes. And Your Bird Can Sing. When your bird is broken, will it bring you down? Just brilliant. Sorry to use that word, overuse that word, but we'll try and come up with a couple of different words. Number 6, we've got Michelle, and Lennon said he came up with the middle eight for this. I need you, I need you, I need you, and I love you, I love you, I love you. The second one. And again, in the Playboy interviews, he's saying, you know, without my contribution, it's a straight love song, right? And I put the slightly, what's the word? Less sugary section, although the words are quite sugary. But I think it is a wonderful contribution from John to that song, if that's what he did. And so it makes it a true Lennon-McCartney collaboration, which was getting rarer by the time of Rubber Soul. So I love that. Number 5, I've got from Help, If You're Going to Lose That Girl, a wonderful section, If You Don't Take Her Out Tonight. Just Lennon comes up with these tunes to die for in his middle eights around this period, and that's another one. The next one is from I Want to Hold Your Hand, and when I touch you, I feel happy inside. And the reason I put this so high is it finishes on such a climax, and when I touch you, I feel happy inside. It's such a feeling that my love, I can't hide. I can't hide, I can't hide, and the voices go up, and Dylan misheard it and thought they were singing I Get High, which is quite amusing. But I've got that at number 4. Number 3, by the way, this is just my top favourite. This is not the best. So a lot of people commented on my top 20 albums, favourite albums that how come you didn't include this or that, you know, criminal. It's just my opinion. It doesn't mean much. Number 3, For No One, the beautiful section from Paul, and in her eyes you see nothing. I just think it's just made in heaven, that whole melody. And number 2, a very personal, subjective choice, but I love it. It's I Feel Fine, the single, and this is the illustration from that wonderful book. Illustration for I Feel Fine there, very nice. And forget who the artist is, but we're talking about the section, I'm so glad that she's my little girl. She's so glad she's telling all the world. And it's just, those lyrics just bound with ecstasy. And the kind of ecstasy one feels when one is truly really in love with someone. So that I put that really high at number 2, might surprise somebody. And then number 1, again, I don't know if this is a bridge or a middle 8, because it's more like a counter to the verse, but it's Hey Jude, because, I don't know, call it what you like, middle something, and it recurs twice, of course, in the song, and any time you feel a pain, Hey Jude refrain. It doesn't contrast with the verse particularly. I mean, it's different in the chord progression, but it's similar, but it very much complements the verse. And I think that and the verse and this, whatever you call it, section fit together so brilliantly. It makes it one of the best songs of all time, although it's been hopelessly overplayed over the years by Paul in concert and probably on the radio, and it probably goes on too long at the end. But one can forgive anything really of this song, because the structure is just so perfect. And even Lennon said it was a masterpiece. So there you go. So that was my top 20 favourite Beatle middle 8s, or middle, doesn't have to be 8 bars. There we go. Last look at that. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for watching. And we'll see you next time.